At least 5 key personalities previously under the Ministry of Energy and 2 parastatals domiciled under the energy sector have been profiled as persons of interest in connection to the ongoing investigations over the signing and execution of the skewed multi-billion Lake Turkana Wind Power LTWP project, reported to have cost the taxpayer 18.5 billion shillings loss, believed to have been a well-orchestrated heist. The probe has been narrowed down to the former Ministry of Energy Principal Secretary, who doubles as the outgoing Transport Principal Secretary Engineer Joseph Njoroge, immediate former Kenyan Electricity Transmission Company KETRACO Managing Director, and current Kakamega Governor Fernandez Baraza, Baraza's predecessor at KETRACO Engineer Joel Kiulu, former and current KETRACO board members and top managers Kenya Power KP, officials, and their counterparts from the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority EPRA. All the institutions played a role in tendering and execution of the power project that was meant to lower the cost of electricity, but was turned into a cash cow to siphon taxpayers' money. Njoroge, Kiilu, and Barasa are among scores of high-profile persons who have so far been questioned and recorded statement with the anti-graft body, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission ESCC. Njoroge, who served as the managing director at Kenya Power, then Kenya Power and Lighting Company KPLC from 2007 to 2012, before he was elevated to the position of PS in the Energy and Petroleum Ministry by retired President Uhuru Kenyatta, has already appeared before ESCC Sloth at the Integrity Center, where he was grilled for hours on what he knows about the project, whose delay in the execution cost 18 billion shillings penalties in the form of deemed generated energy between January 2017 and September 2018. The long-serving PS was transferred last year from the energy docket, where he has served for about 8 years and made PS Transport and acting PS in the Ministry of Water, Irrigation and Sanitation. The probe was occasioned by National Assembly's Public Investment Committee PIC report, which highlighted irregularities that led to avoidable loss. Have also seen several current and former board and management officials KETRACO, Kenya Power and EPRA, which were key in the project record statements and will either be witnesses or suspects. An impeccable source at ESCC privy to the probe disclosed to the informer. Besides Njoroge, others who have recorded statements with ESCC include Kakamega Governor Barasa, his predecessor Joel Kiilu, and ex-Kenya Power board member and Nyeri politician Esau Kioni, among others. Also, directors of local and foreign companies involved in the projects have also been listed as persons of interest into the matter. The now beleaguered Barasa appeared before the commission on Monday and Tuesday this week, where he was grilled for over 20 hours. Barasa is on the spot over the manner in which KETRACO handled Wayleaf's acquisition and provision of access to Isolax, one of the companies awarded the contract. Under the contract under investigations, KETRACO was expected to grant access along the entire 428-kilometer stretch to MS Isolax within 210 days from March 13, 2015. On June 2, 2016, KETRACO committed to the African Development Bank to have the compensation of persons affected by the projects completed by the end of that month. Minutes of the Wayleaf Coordination Progress meetings of June 8th, June 20th, July 14th and October 13th, 2017 and February 14th, 2018 showed that the Wayleaf acquisition process was still incomplete, contrary to KETRACO's earlier commitment. ESCC is also investigating directors of 2 foreign companies contracted for the project, MS Isolax of Spain and Nari Group Corporation and Power China Guangzhou Engineering Company Limited. ESCC investigating circumstances under which the project, where the government initially engaged Lake Turkana Wind Power Limited and the consortium of Nari Group Corporation and Power China Guangzhou Engineering Company Limited to alleviate energy costs in the country, ended up incurring additional, avoidable financial penalties. Despite Nari Group Corporation and Power China Guangzhou Engineering Company Limited emerging as the most responsive out of the 5 bidders, it was recommended that the award process be undertaken through a specially permitted procurement procedure that was approved by Dr. Kamau Thuge, then PS at the National Treasury. The firm, according to a report by Parliament, was contracted on January 30th, 2018 and completed the transmission line on September 10th the same year, earning 9.5 billion shillings and leaving a balance of 1.75 billion shillings, which is still pending, plus any accrued penalties amounting to approximately 1.1 billion shillings as at the time of the inquiry. Our sources disclosed that he is being treated as a suspect, and more individuals from the energy sector believed to have played a role have also been summoned and will soon start having their day with the detectives. Investigations into the scandal followed a report by PIC and Auditor General pointing at the possible theft of the billions of shillings through deliberate omissions and commissions, which delayed completion of the transmission line. At the heart of the investigations by the EACC is the circumstances under which a project where the government initially engaged Lake Turkana Wind Power Limited LTWP Limited and the consortium of Nare Group Corporation and Power China Guangzhou Engineering Company Limited to alleviate energy costs in the country ended up incurring an additional and avoidable financial burden following a failure to secure waivers and signing addenda to the Transmission Intercontinental TI contract that led to delay in the completion of the line, exposing taxpayers to the delay payments and higher energy bills. Documents from Kenya Power indicate that LTWP and KPLC entered into a power purchase agreement PPA on 29th January 2010 when the utility firm was still under Njoroge. Njoroge was among the several senior government officials who appeared before the parliamentary committee, then chaired by Mombasa Governor Abdul Swamad Sharif, and which also recommended that the then accounting officers at the Ministry of Energy and KETRACO be held accountable for not conducting an independent legal risk assessment prior to execution of contracts for a capital project of this magnitude. Other PSs who testified are outgoing Treasuries Dr. Julius Muia, who took over from Kamau Thuge. Thuge has been cited in the report as having approved a specially permitted procurement procedure that awarded the multi-billion tender to Nare Group Corporation and Power China Guangzhou Engineering Company Limited, despite having emerged as the most responsive out of the 5 bidders. Major General retired Gordon Kihalangwa, who was transferred to the Energy Ministry from Public Works docket in September 2021, appeared on December 9, 2021 and March 24, 2022. Barasa's successor at KETRACO, Anthony Wanukota, Daniel Bagoria, Director General EPRA, and Kenya Power's boss Rosemary Oduor appeared before the committee on the 3rd and 16th of February last year. Additionally, Baringo North Member of Parliament Joseph Makilap has filed a petition in the National Assembly seeking to have the controversial deal probed, specifically regarding payments made in 2017 before KPLC was linked to LTWP. He also said that the Kenya Power Board chairperson Vivian Yeda is the Director General of the East African Development Bank EADB, which is a co-financer of LTWP, and thus raising possible direct conflict of interest. Makilap questioned whether there was a link to the unutilized billions of shillings paid to the Kenya Power and the high utility bills. However, Yeda, through her spokesperson Charles Gasheru, denied that there was any conflict of interest. LTWP has emerged as the second largest supplier for the last 4 years since it started electricity production. The petition is expected to be tabled before the House Business Committee as soon as Parliament sessions resume.
Justice is heftily paid. In pursuant to hold accountable prime suspect of the 18.5 billion scandalous Lake Turkana Wind Power project, EACC detectives continue to narrow down to key suspects and companies believed to be the big fish in orchestrating the loot, among them senior government officials serving in the current and immediate former regimes. Stanley Lugaria, the informer, uncovering the truth.